Hey everyone, and welcome back to Holy Terrors and a confessional episode where we talk about some of the movies we've been watching and what we've been up to as of late. I'm one of your hosts, Brian Kuiper, and joining me from across the continent with a brand new Godzilla Blu-ray package right behind him now in his background, Mr. Pat Brennan. How are you, Pat?
Hey, Brian. I'm great, man.
Good.
I am great. My Criterion order came in this week
I see that.
and it was just chef's kiss. Uh,
Lovely. Yeah. And I think we're both feeling a lot better this week than we did the last
yeah,
time we recorded. I'm not
yeah.
hacking up my lung every 10 minutes this time.
And my medication is finally kicking in, and my brain is just
Oh, good.
soaring through the clouds in a good way this
In a
time.
good
So,
way. I'm glad to
yeah,
hear that. That's
thanks.
nice to know. Okay, so I have a confession to start right off the bat. How's that? My
All right.
confession is I have allowed these confessional episodes to get rather unwieldy. I just love talking about movies so much. And I wanted to talk about everything. Well, that's a little bit too much. So we've decided it's going to be a better idea to scale it back a bit. We'll
Add a little
talk
structure.
little structure. We're going to talk about 3 movies each,
Hmm.
do a little rapid fire for things that we absolutely must mention, but, like 5 words or less about each of those. And
Yeah.
then today we have a special treat because we actually both saw a new release movie pretty much at the same time. So we're going to talk about that, which
This is
is,
primarily my fault because I love movies and I don't go to them,
yeah,
mostly
well,
because of a parenting thing. But
yeah, I'm lucky enough to have, one extra day off and a weekend, first of all. And
nice.
then, yeah, another reason to think my wife is the best person in the world, that she thought that would be an okay idea. And then my kids are all teenagers. They're doing
Hmm.
their thing. And so I can go to the movies with my unlimited pass anytime I want, pretty much. There are responsibilities in life still, so I don't get to everything, but I get to go to a few more than you do at this time in life, and I get it. I've been there.
Does
So
the staff know you by now? Like, do they know you by
there's a
name?
guy, there's a guy
Yeah.
who I walk in, he's like, "Hey man." I think he called me by my first name once. Yeah, I kind of like him. He seems to be a horror guy. Though his name tag says his favorite movie is The Dark Knight, which, that's fine. I'm cool with that.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's a
I
good
should
movie.
walk in. I should walk in with a name tag one day. My favorite movie is, oh, Magnolia.
Oh,
Um,
I thought you were gonna
though,
say like The Dark Knight Rises or something.
oh, there you go. No, sorry. Anyway, let's start with our going back and forth with the 3 that we've chosen. Do you have something at the ready?
Yeah, I've got a nice, delicious, we'll say international sandwich. The bread are 2 Korean films that I watched this week that I loved, and then the
Surprise,
sweet, sweet meat
surprise.
is some Canadian bacon, baby.
Go for it. What are we
Ar
starting with? What's our first Korean international film?
I finally saw the new Park Chan-wook's film. Um, is it Wook or
Yes.
Wok?
I always thought it was Park Chan-wook.
We'll say Wook.
Okay.
So glad y'all can see my face right now. This is great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this video thing is kind of freaking me out, if I'm
It's
going to be
freaking me out
honest.
too, but
Yeah.
we'll get
So
comfortable. We'll
we'll
get
we'll get
comfortable.
better about it. Yeah.
It's humanizing.
It is. I hope you can look and see what you know, rotund, bald, bearded old
How
men we
frail
are.
and scared we are.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, the new and I got my notebook in front of me here. A little behind the scenes look into my process. Um yeah. So it's his new film, No Other Choice, which came out this year. It's about a
I've
dude
seen it.
who yes, yes, you might have already talked like
I
talked
might
about
have
this at one point, but
briefly. Yeah. Hmm.
briefly, it's about a dude who spent the last, like, 25 years of his life working for this paper company. He gets the, axe when the company is bought by some new owners, and then he spends a bunch of time working, like, kind of, smaller wage jobs and, trying to get back into the industry, and then finally realizes that the only way he can get back in is by literally killing the competition that he has, who are
Yeah.
incidentally other guys who have been fired from their jobs, who are in the same position as him. And so it's a combination thriller comedy. As always, somehow with these like Korean thrillers, the the way that comedy and just pitch black, uh,
Hmm.
gut punches are
Yeah.
juggled and balanced is just, like, deathless. Park Chan-wook is, like I felt the same way after watching his last film, Decision to Leave.
Mm.
It just feels like you're watching a master at work. Like, his films are so bold and confident and hypnotic. I really love this movie, but I also hated it in a way because it's a movie very much about, being left behind, I
Yep.
think,
It
and
is
being left behind both in employment and stuff, but also
just
just in the changing world
yeah,
of
exactly.
yeah,
Things getting more and more automated. Um, this directly broaches the AI subject of
yeah.
just making people obsolete. And for people who work in writing, at least part of our life, that is a part of things, and it's
Yeah.
scary, and it's like, I mean, neither of us rely on that income, but it's just like, man,
We dream
it's
of that income though, or
we
we dream of
do.
those
We
jobs, and
do.
it's like, yeah, we were born
Exactly.
in the
And they're
wrong time.
just there's just not there anymore.
Well, and it had me thinking too. A couple of years ago, I remember listening to this podcast, and one of the people speaking on it kind of it was around the time that the dock workers, I think in New York
Mhm.
City, were on strike,
Yeah.
and it was causing some like shipping delays and whatnot. And one of the reasons why they're on strike had to do with um, not wanting their jobs to be fully
Automated.
automated. Thank you,
Hey,
Ryan.
I'm here for you.
I have an English degree. But this person just kind of like dismissed their concerns with like, well, so what? If your jobs do get eliminated, they'll go and find something else.
Right.
And I've been thinking a lot about that and the worries of like, well, you might find something else, but
Mhm.
God, what are you going to find? And how do
Right.
you? And maybe this is more in my mind lately since my family and I just bought a house, and I'm like, okay, 25
Yep.
years of mortgage, time
Yeah,
to
it's like,
start
please
paying.
let my job not become one of these that's obsoleted, so to speak.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's the other stuff too underneath the film that I really like, just in terms of
Hmm.
it's not just profession wise getting left behind. Like it's a
Yeah.
lot of the like there's that one guy, the one competitor that he offs who's like super into music, but he only
Yeah.
ingests music via vinyl and
Right.
analog.
Yeah.
And it seems like in general, all three of them had this dedication to paper
Yeah.
as like it's like a philosophical thing for them. It's not just
Yeah.
a 9 to 5 job. There's a quote that I saw floating around recently from Miyazaki where he's talking about how I'm a man of the 20th century, but I live in the 21st. But I have no uh, interest in 21st century matters or something like
Right.
that. I'm
Hmm.
butchering that quote, but
No,
I
I
feel that
it's
like
I
genetically.
uh-huh. I get it. I get it. It's funny. I saw this movie when my wife was out of work.
Yeah.
So it just sort of hit extra hard. And honestly, uh, theoretically, it's a movie we could cover on this show
Yep.
because imagery wise, there's this sense that they're in the Garden of Eden at the beginning, and then a serpent enters and changes everything for them. It's I think
Yeah,
that
that's
it could
true.
be an interesting one to dig into. It uses it as a metaphor for all of this other stuff occurring just in modern life. But
And that's another thing actually,
yeah.
a purely on a purely visual level, it's just gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
The foliage and everything, it's like I had never really seen that side of like
Mhm.
South Korean landscapes before, and it was just oh,
Yeah.
really made you wanna visit.
Yeah, yeah. Excellent choice. Really good movie. I'm wanting to see it again. I think it's on Hulu or something now too. So I mean it's
Yeah.
available.
I
Um
think it's on Mubi as of May 1st.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's cool. So there are a couple of different options for it. I came into this not completely decided on what I was going to pick, but I'm going to see your dark comedy and I'm going to raise you a dark comedy. I saw
Mm,
yesterday in the theater Over Your Dead Body, starring Jason Segel and Samara Weaving as a couple who go to it's Jason Segel's character's father's cabin in the woods
mhm.
somewhere, and he plans to kill her. But things don't go as planned, as often is the case when you want to kill your wife. So I love how dark.
That
Yes,
was an
it's a
ominous phrase to come out of your
yeah,
mouth.
I know. I meant it. I meant it as a joke, but I mean, it didn't come across that way. It's a extremely dark, dark, dark comedy, which I love a good dark comedy. And to see Jason Segel in that mode,
Mhm.
he's the guy on Shrinking. He's Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
The
Comedy
Muppets.
comedies, nice stuff. And here he is doing this kind of gear is I think really funny for him. Samara Weaving, they have a great chemistry together in this as well. And then there's some surprises along the way, and I don't really want to give them away, but Timothy Oliphant and Juliette Lewis come into the film, which is magical in its own way. It's a remake of a Norwegian film called The Trip, and
Oh, I've heard of that.
my understanding is that it follows it pretty close. I haven't seen it, but I'm curious to see it. I
Mhm.
imagine it probably is pretty similar. It really hits a tone that I love. I mean, there's something about, especially at the in the first act and the third act. There's a little maybe dip in the middle where it gets a little perhaps even too dark.
Is there
Where
such a thing?
if is there such a thing? But it overall was just a fun experience. Part of it is probably the most full theater I've sat in for a while.
Wow.
And the thing is, it was like people older than me, and I know I'm ancient and decrepit, but people older than
Yeah,
me
yeah, yeah.
laughing out loud at what was going on, and some of it is very, very sick. So if you have a twisted sense of humor, Over Your Dead Body might be for you. And I do have kind of a sick, twisted sense of humor. I think this sort of thing is hilarious. There's a part where someone gets shot in the face, and I laughed so loud for so long. I'm pretty sure the people around me thought I was certifiably insane.
I'm just
Um,
thinking of Mr. Burns laughing about the memory
yeah,
of his, "Oh, it was that crippled Irishman."
yeah,
Uh,
right. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Over Your Dead Body now in theaters actually. So
cool.
yeah,
Alright. Alright,
what's your
Canadian
Canadian
bacon.
bacon?
I finally saw Undertone.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool.
and, it was heavy, a
Yeah,
lot heavier than I was expecting.
okay.
Um, it's a really good example, I think, of a movie that the ideas in it aren't necessarily, like, all that original, but it's the execution that makes it kinda stand above, um, other fare that deals with the same subject matter.
Mhm,
Um, I also think so I did not realize that the filmmaker who made this, that was his actual house, and that was the house that he had both his parents, from what I understand, became ill, and he had been caring for them in that house, and it was the house that they passed away in.
Oh.
Um, which, like, I don't know, man. You could tell there was
Yeah.
like a real vibe around the setting, and I
Mhm.
just thought it was a set that was built and
Mhm.
was really going to complement the the set, and then to realize it was a house where
Yeah.
the events that happened inspired a lot of what happened in the film. It
Wow.
was, really fascinating to find that out, but the movie itself, I mean, most people know what it is now, but,
Mhm.
if you haven't heard of it, it's, this young woman who is caring for her dying mother. um, she is also a podcaster, and while she's caring for her mother, her and her pod mate, start covering this, set of 10 recordings that were, sent to them by some mysterious person on the internet, and you know, demonic manifestations and
See,
whatnot um
I don't know if I would have
take
the
hold.
guts to do that. To listen to them live on the air like that.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that, and you know, it's funny, I know some people who the podcasting part didn't hit for them, and
Yeah.
like I can understand from a strictly podcaster perspective, like it was a little insane that this idea that like
Hey.
you're 20 minutes into a recording and you're like, I'm not feeling it, let's just pick this up 2 days from now.
Right.
Like that doesn't, you know.
We have a schedule to keep. Come on.
Yeah, yeah,
You
and
know?
the idea that you're gonna keep it's not gonna stick out like a sore thumb that you
Right.
jumped back. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, that aside, I thought those were the some of the best moments in the movie other than the insane climax. I watched it in the dark with headphones on.
Yeah, that's the way to see it, I think.
Yeah, but besides how great the sound design was, just I was looking for stuff in the background the entire
Yes,
time during those
me too.
moments.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
The
I
way
don't.
that the camera really moves in a way that makes you think you should,
Yeah, yeah,
you know? It's
yeah,
very unsettling.
yeah, and I had this thought during the film where, because there's a lot of shots of different religious iconography because the mother is a devout Catholic.
Yeah,
So you get the shots of the crosses on the wall and the rosary beads and stuff like that. But it's done in a way that where it's like all these things kind of look ominous.
yeah.
And I had this realization, like as a, I guess, kind of a lapsed Catholic at this point, but Catholic nonetheless. It's always gonna hurt when you're watching a movie and you realize that like these images that you see, that give you not necessarily strength, but you have warm feelings or you
Like a
have
comfort or
a
yeah.
comfort attached to
Mhm,
it. It's
mhm.
always gonna hurt when you realize how many people have the complete opposite.
Right.
Um, Maybe that's one of the reasons why I've kind of lapsed. Is just it's hard when you realize how many people have been hurt by
Oh,
religion
sure.
or by the religion that you personally subscribe to. So,
Sure. Sure. Um, yeah, well, I think it's tough because every institution ever created has got a human element to it, at least. I mean, even if there is a divine element to it, which of course is up to interpretation and debate, but every human institution, no matter how sacred it might be, uh, is going to have flaws. There's just no doubt about it. And the longer it's been around, the more and the bigger flaws it's going to have. And so the question is, how is it going to deal with them?
all that is to say, Undertone, deeply upsetting,
Yeah,
upsetting film, and I think very well executed, and is probably going to be in my top 10 for 2026 horror by the end of the year.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go with something that I finished watching this morning. That I don't know if it's good, but I found myself surprisingly entertained by it. It's called The Mutations, aka The Freak Maker.
Oh,
Uh,
you watched that? I
I
really want to
watched
see that.
The Freak Maker from 1974, directed by Jack Cardiff. Do you know who Jack Cardiff is?
No.
He's the cinematographer of The Red Shoes and The Black
Oh.
Narcissus and Rambo First Blood Part 2. Anyway, he has a very mixed track record with the types of movies that he was a cinematographer on, but he was one of the first and most important, frankly, Technicolor um,
Okay.
uh, cinematographers. So his directorial track record is interesting. He makes like exploitation fare, but this stars Donald Pleasance as a
Everything stars Donald Pleasance in the
in
70s.
in the 70s. Yeah. It's a British film too, so there you've got
Mhm.
that. So every British film in the 70s stars Donald Pleasance, but he plays this professor, sort of mad doctor, who's experimenting with carnivorous plants to try and make a human plant hybrid that can survive after the coming apocalypse. You know.
Cool.
Anyway, um, so it's a weird movie. It's like him, and then there's, for lack of a better term, circus freaks that are
Mhm.
nearby, and Tom Baker, before he, like, just before he was Doctor Who, plays this under like 20 pounds of 1970s prosthetics, plays the sort of, remember, have you ever seen House of Wax, like
Yeah.
the
The
from the six,
original with
yeah, from the 50s, the Vincent Price one?
Yep.
He looks so much like Vincent Price when he's got the whole, the big black coat and everything on and all that.
Yeah.
It's a lot like that. He's like abducts people for Donald Pleasance's experiments. It's like Frankenstein and Freaks and Day of the Triffids and House of Wax and all of these things thrown together into this crazy ball of something. I love movies like this because they're so just wacky. I think
Yeah, it
they're
sounds like fun.
there's this great part where this guy's like has been experimented on. So he's like
Mhm.
half human, half Venus flytrap. So he has this big opening on his chest and he can like trap people inside his chest and they
Hell
melt.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. Um what a crazy discovery. I only watched it because I thought it might have some sort of Frankenstein element for my, Frankenstein series.
Mhm.
I don't think it really qualifies on that level, but it's on Shudder. It's just kind of nutty and it's fun. And if you're looking for something weird 70s, you could do worse than
Cool.
The Freak Maker. What a great title. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a sort of post Hammer British film. It's not Hammer, but it's sort of that right in that pocket, right as they
Right.
were finishing up. So, anyway,
Cool.
fun stuff.
Well, my last picture was a movie that came out in 2023 called Sleep. It was
Hmm.
the first time picture by this
Yeah, you told me about
director.
this.
Yeah, yeah, this guy named Jason Yu. Um, it's about this young couple who, at the beginning of the film, they're expecting their first child. She works an office job. He is a an actor who has like a job as an extra on some television show at that point. And the relationship at the very beginning, it's like the motto for their marriage is that we can overcome everything together. So much so that they have it on like a plaque in their home. But then the husband starts having these sleep issues where he starts sleepwalking at night and starts doing some weird shit, and uh things escalate,
Yeah.
and it starts impacting his wife's mental health and stuff because she's terrified, and they eventually she has her baby, and then she's terrified that something's going to happen to the baby, and meanwhile the husband is just doing his absolute best to try and overcome what's happening, and it leads to them seeing a shaman, and
Okay.
then things start to get crazy from there. It's a movie that I really, really love despite its flaws in
Okay.
that its 3rd act is, like, really it's actually broken up into 3 chapters, and I found the 3rd chapter was, um, decent but very undercooked, It's a movie that I think could have standed to be probably a half hour longer.
Okay.
Instead it's
Oh,
sort of
that's
kind of a
unusual. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of a full 90 minutes.
Hmm.
Um, but the stuff before that, like I think the two leads, like the actors that play the couple are so good. I found
Hmm.
their chemistry was really strong, and I just found them so charming that within like 10 minutes of the movie I was very much invested
Yeah.
into their story and in their characters. There's this kind of theme going through it, especially once the shaman gets involved, where it's like faith and belief and where you put that,
Sure.
and how sometimes spirituality can lead you down some paths that aren't necessarily the truth. Um, but there's also like running parallel to that is the idea of like the faith that we put in our relationships,
Hmm.
and the people that are in our lives, how difficult that can be when you start encountering these kinds of world shaking problems.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was really
Sure.
surprised by how quickly I latched onto this movie and how well it portrayed not only just like sleep issues once you have your first child, but the intricacies of marriage and relationships and how they look when stuff like this is happening. But it kind of took me by surprise. I just rented it because it was like I think $1 at the time, and
Sure.
I had heard about it a few years ago and didn't get a chance to see it, and was
Hmm.
pleasantly surprised. I think it would be a good movie for us to cover at some point on the show. Mm,
Sounds good. Sounds
yeah.
good. Okay, my last one for this is the latest IFC Shutter joint to hit Shutter, and that is Dolly
Oh
from
God.
this year. So this is something. It stars Fabian Therese as this woman who goes out into the woods with her fiance, played by Sean William Scott, best known as Stifler from the American Pie franchise.
He's still
Yeah.
getting work. That's
It's
great.
still it is, it is, it
Yeah.
is. His part's a little smaller, but they come across some strange happenings in the woods. So the whole sense of this movie to me is very Texas Chainsaw.
Mhm.
There's a lot of that sense to it. The Dolly character has a Leatherface vibe. There's a character named Toby, played by Ethan Suplee. There's a part where it very clearly says, "Hey, scenic overlook," and then the bottom, Hooper Mines. Okay, so yes, it is very much vibing on Toby Hooper,
But it's wearing that on
but
its sleeve.
it's wearing it on its sleeve, and it's absolutely 70s exploitation through and through, and there's not much more to it than that. There's like not just Texas Chainsaw, there's sort of little hints of inspiration from like The Baby. You ever see that
Oh,
movie?
I have
uh
a fun fact. One of my a good friend of mine, he played the baby
oh,
in the first ever stage production of
oh wow.
of that show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you're looking for something that's more than that, you're not going to find it. It even looks like it was shot on 16 millimeter, and it has sort of that washed out look to it and everything. I kind of dug it. It's just gory and gross and uncomfortable, and probably has some pretty negative stereotypes about people with disabilities. And so it's an interesting movie. But most people will probably be like, oh, it was fine and fun and gory, and that's what it was. I don't think that it's going to be a big top 10 list kind of movie, but I think it's going to be one of those where people go, okay, it was a horror movie and it did what it set out to do. And
kind of an honorable
s-
mention.
sometimes it's kind of all you need, is
Yeah,
something like that. It doesn't go as deep, I think, as Texas Chainsaw does, but it does probably go as hard as Texas Chainsaw does in a lot of ways,
damn.
which is kind of fun. So
Yeah,
anyway,
it sounds
on
kind of
Shutter.
refreshing.
Yeah, we have so much that is like, let's dive into deep themes about stuff, which one of my rapid fire picks is that. And this is not. It's just like there's a shovel and there's a giant person dressed up as a doll and there's dislocated jaws and there's knives in people's backs and there's people's faces being smashed, and yeah, it's that kind of movie.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right.
Do tastic.
Okay, so should we rapid fire real
Let's
quick?
do it. Here, I'll start.
Go for it.
I finally got to see The Eye, the I think joint Hong Kong and Thai horror film that was kind of like at the end of the Asian horror
Okay.
boom in the early
Okay.
2000s. Disappointing. Not
All right.
bad. Certainly better than the Jessica Alba remake that came out.
Okay. Uh, do you have more?
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't know if we were going back and
Go
forth.
for it. No,
Uh,
just go for it.
I watched Thrash, the new shark movie that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's basically an exploitation film, when animals attack. It was very boring and dumb.
Fair
Did
enough.
not hit for me. Also, I finally watched 28 Years Later, Bone Temple.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoyed it maybe more than the first one. But
Yeah.
the ending, I thought, uh, knowing that there's another one coming out, I
Yeah.
might appreciate the ending more once that's out. But I just thought it was a sad end for Rafe Fiennes' character. I think he
Yeah.
deserved a little better of a send off than that.
Yeah. Well, he
Um,
does get to dance to Mark of the Beast, so that's pretty fun.
yeah, I'm still on the fence
And
about that whole sequence, but it was definitely rad. But
that's fair.
and then last but not least, my this was just the after I finished Undertone, I really needed to watch a one of my comfort movies, so I watched one of the director Juzo Itami's last movies, Supermarket Woman,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's just a lovely movie that's unabashedly positive, and
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest it to anybody who needs a pick me up.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Frankenstein's Bloody Terror from 1968. No Frankenstein. It's a werewolf and vampire movie in 3D.
Hey,
Yeah.
at least there's
It-
that.
there was that. I don't have a 3D TV, so I wasn't able to watch it that way. I was able to watch it with the red and blue paper glasses, though. So, there we go.
Sweet. Classic.
Yeah. Yeah. I revisited the movie Sandman from 2006. Um, interesting meta horror. If you haven't seen it, it's on Prime, I think. Um,
I
I
don't think I've
really
heard of
like,
it.
I really like this movie. It's like S the and symbol man. It mixes documentary and like feature together, but you can't really tell where the line is very easily between what is real documentary and what is faux documentary, and
Cool.
it's really really well done. I like that movie a lot. I saw the original Faces of Death. Alternately repulsive and boring.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that
Yeah.
it matters the age and the time when you're seeing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's best seen in a sleepover with a bunch of people who are forbidden to see it, I think. I watched the original Leprechaun, which is so stupid. Will I watch the others? Probably. Um, Somnium. This was a movie that I almost liked. It was on Shudder, and it was I don't know. Um, it didn't quite land for me. I love dream movies and stuff.
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay, and also on Shudder, I watched Black Eyed Susan. I like this a little more, though I would have been more comfortable with it had it been directed by a woman,
Mm.
because it is about an AI sex doll. It's an interesting sort of look at violence and like fantasy and stuff, and it's kind of leaves you with a yucky feeling. It's an interesting movie. I watched a couple of stoner comedies because 420 was the weekend, so I watched The Big Lebowski with my daughter, which is her favorite movie, in the theater. And then on my birthday, they were playing Dazed and Confused. So I saw Dazed and Confused on the big screen for the first time. And that's a movie that's, I've sort of traditionally made it my last day of school movie. But it's one that I like more as I see it more. Can't go wrong. Great movie. Okay. Night Patrol. Night Patrol is a mixed bag. It's on Shudder. It's a big, huge swing. I don't think it connects. I don't think they quite get what they're going for. It's got some really interesting ideas, though.
Hmm.
It's probably the 2.5-star movie I've seen lately that's most worth watching.
Okay.
Yeah. Mother Mary, starring Anne Hathaway, she's like my age, but man, she's
She doesn't age.
gorgeous. I mean, she's so gorgeous.
I don't know how
Anyway,
many stem cells she's lathered in,
I don't
but
know. I don't know. I don't know whatever she does. Is this is again, it's a movie that was like, it's sort of a possession movie, but sort of a ghost movie, sort of not. But it takes so long to get to where it's going. It's mostly about this interconnected relationship between these two women. Uh, she's kind of a Lady Gaga pop star, and the other gal is her fashion designer, and she is trying to reconnect. And I don't know. It was like, I like slow cinema, but this was like so slow
sometimes you can be too slow.
that it was, I mean, it's okay, less artsy, more fartsy. That's what I was wanting, I think, with this. And then I watched Malum, which I think I want to see the original
The
version,
original's
Night Shift or Last
The Last
Shift.
Shift, yeah.
Last Shift.
Malum, I remember watching that and just being like, "What? What was the point of this
Yeah,
movie?"
having not seen the original though, I don't know that. And so
Yeah.
for me it worked enough. So anyway, that's many more things than anyone probably needed to hear from me. But we do have our combined picks still. See if we can.
My 420 watch,
Yeah,
The Mummy. Well, sorry,
not
Lee
Lee
Cronin's.
Cronin's The Mummy.
Are
Yeah.
contractually obligated to specify that.
So anyway, what do you think? I mean, give me your thoughts, man.
I really wanted to like this
Yeah,
because rarely do I watch trailers anymore, but when that first trailer came out, you know, I was pretty it made me pretty uncomfortable, so
yeah,
I don't know, and I loved his last two pictures a
sure.
lot. But then
Because he
as I
did
was
what? Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise and
Yeah.
I think the boy in the hole or
Okay.
the hole in the
Yeah. I
ground.
I saw Evil Dead
um
Rise is the only one of his I've seen besides this one.
I'm hoping that we find out that there's a lot of studio interference. I know for sure that
Yeah.
the ending was influenced a lot by the test audiences that it had, because that whole last little bit,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to give out spoilers, but that
No,
was
probably not. But
tacked on later.
yeah, it sort of feels like, oh, we got to give this a happy ending, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so here was my letterbox review. I don't review very many, but this is what I said, and I think I stand by this. A hodgepodge of ideas without much direction or structure, alternately boring and gross, with little attempt at suspense, dread, or real mystery.
Yeah. So, like, I'm worried that he might be like a one-trick pony, I guess.
Yeah.
Is my because it just felt like it was yet another movie involving the destruction of a family.
Yeah.
Um, and it just there's so much that I don't know, man. It was just all over the place.
Yeah. It's like, oh, hey, here's an idea. Let's do that. And let's do that. It's like, well, that's fine, but you need to have something to hang it on. And there
Yeah.
just didn't seem like there was anything that was holding it all together. It was just, and I mean, it's a mummy movie without a mummy.
Well, and
you
that
know?
part I didn't even give a shit about because like
Yeah.
I'm fine with it taking a swing
Well,
at something different.
sure.
And the
I mean,
idea that like after when they're well, fuck it. She kind of was a mummy in that, like, when they
Yeah,
start peeling off all
yeah,
the strands off of her that were under, I guess, what, on top of her skin that the doctors didn't realize were there. Like, I
right. It
just
was like fused with her skin. It's anyway. I don't understand why of all the Universal monster things, why we keep getting versions of the Mummy of all movies. I've said this before, I think, and it's just, I I don't really get it. I
yeah.
think that, Stephen Summers' version is it's entertaining enough. I don't think I'm as high on it as a lot of people are. I think it's fine. I think I like Raiders of the Lost Ark better. You know, they're kind of the same sort of thing.
I
And,
think if he came up
fine. I was a little old for it maybe when it first came out. I was like, "Oh, I've seen Army of Darkness." So,
I think a
it's
lot of
fine.
yeah, I think a lot of people who like that came out around the time I was younger, and maybe
Yeah.
I have more not that I'm
I
saying it's
was
on the level of Raiders of the Lost Ark, but
yeah.
I might
I
have
was
this.
21, and so
Oh,
I had seen a lot of the things that inspired it, I think.
yeah,
And so I knew those films in my core, and I guess I didn't but that said, I went and saw it with my son. They did a re-release of the original of the 99 version. And it was a lot of fun. It
yeah.
was, we had a great time. I still like the movie. And, there's predictability to it, which is fine.
Man, I remember watching I saw The Scorpion King in theaters. The Rock's first first attempt.
Yeah.
I
Well,
at
I mean,
acting.
I mean, with the Mummy, the second one, the Mummy Returns, was just playing in theaters again recently. Like,
Yeah,
okay, so I guess we're having a renaissance of that, and because they're doing a fourth one, which, hey, more power to them.
but they're not acknowledging
I
the third one.
no, I will go see Mummy 4, I'm sure, and it'll be a good time. But it's so weird. I don't think I mean, even the Hammer version of the Mummy is sort of like lesser than Curse of Frankenstein and Horror of Dracula.
Yeah.
It's like it always feels like a bit of an afterthought when they do a Mummy movie. Universal too. Um, I don't know many people who are like, "Oh, the Mummy's my favorite Universal monster movie."
Lindsay from Schlock and Awe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's great.
She actually, I think she gave this like 3.5
Yeah,
stars. I think she enjoyed it a lot more
that's
than
good.
most people.
Yeah, I know. Like Daniel Epler gave it really seemed to like it a lot too, which, hey, awesome. It didn't work for me. And a lot of it
Same.
just has to do with not because it's, Deadite territory again, which it is, but just because it didn't really seem to have anything to build on itself. It was just stuff for the sake of stuff, without having a lot of reason for anything. And
Yeah.
it made it really feel really long and aimless.
Oh, it was
It's
my
far too
ass was
long.
asleep. Like I
Yeah.
was
It's like
just
2 hours and 15 minutes. I mean, you're
ugh,
getting into Terrifier 2 territory there, man. I
yeah.
mean, that's long for a horror movie like this, at least. There are a few that could The Exorcist, it earned the right to be 2 hours long. But, I don't know that The Mummy really does.
No, no, especially if it's not going to really touch on. I just thought there was all this potential in the
Hmm.
narrative for talking about guilt and like the tension
Yeah.
in the marriage, and instead they do this like throwaway scene that's just feels so trite, that
Yeah.
they tack on. And so during the movie, I rarely go to movies now, as I've said
Right.
before. One of the reasons I find movies tough is I just feel like the etiquette is gone.
Yeah. I
And
hate that.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, people tend to like talk and shit. And so it was 420. So obviously that was heightened a little bit. But I got to this point where I was like, you know what? Give us a reason not to talk. Like you can tell
Hmm.
sometimes you can just tell if a movie's working or not by the fact
Yeah.
that it's completely lost its audience, and I
Yeah.
would say a half an hour in, the audience was basically like, "Eh."
I have an odd test because I go into a movie with an open mind.
Mm.
But then at some point in the movie, I could just feel my face had gone to this. And so I was just like in this scowl. I was like, why am I scowling so much at this? And it's just like I don't know what it was. It just at some point my face just decided I don't like this. and
Yeah,
so and so my face is usually the first to know, and then it goes from there. And part of it is it's disappointing,
yeah.
being a fan of classic horror as I am, and I actually will defend both the Boris Karloff and the Christopher Lee Mummy, but this because like Invisible Man was terrific, and then the Wolfman
Wolfman had
was
some cool
trying.
ideas,
It
but
had a couple of ideas, but it ultimately didn't work. And
yeah.
then this is just it's just like every time they try and revive them, it just there's like something that works, and then it just loses steam so quickly.
I
Um,
think
it- yeah,
the Invisible Man was so well received that it was like, okay, we can't do another monster movie that's just a straight monster movie, and or
right,
straight in the sense that it's, following the same template as,
sure,
I don't know. But, I appreciate the swing it took, I guess. I just
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, that it's not locked into a certain kind of thing. I don't know. I ultimately, whatever reason, it just did not work. And I don't think that I will probably revisit it. But hey,
um,
that's all right. So we hope you enjoyed this episode of The Confessional. We'll be back in a couple weeks with, well, actually, we should announce our next week's episode because it's a doozy. Um, we just came off talking about one of our heaviest movies, which was Darren Aronofsky's Mother. So next week we have decided to bring balance to the force. So we are going to talk about something that is much lighter. We are talking about 1990s Repossessed. That's right. The true sequel to The Exorcist. Um,
speaking of big swings.
but yeah, and we could both count it as a movie we saw. So anyway, though I don't know, I have some weird affection for that movie, I'll admit. Um, so anyway, fun conversation. Whether the movie is good or not isn't always the point. Sometimes it's what else is going on, and so we had a good time talking about it, I thought, and also it's going to be our first full episode available on video. So if you want to watch us talk about Repossessed, you'll be able to do that. If you just want to listen, though, we encourage that too. All right. So anything else? Anything else to add, Pat?
I, you know, this I don't know how I feel about people seeing my face, but
No, it's okay.
you know what? It's a brave new world.
It is. It is. And we will be brave. So, anyway, thanks again for listening or watching Holy Terrors. And we will look forward to having you join us. Please rate and review and all of that good
Tell
stuff
your
that we
friends.
always ask for. And tell your friends. And yeah. And I think we've got some exciting news coming up over the next couple months. And so we've got some ideas and some evolutions in the nature of the show that we will be sharing shortly. So stay tuned for that. All right. Thank you much. Bye.
Bye. And that concludes another episode of Holy Terrors. Thank you so much for listening to our humble little podcast. If you'd like to support the show, please drop us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky by searching Holy Terrors Podcast. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.